start the recording, go live, and we will just, make this hopefully quick and easy today. I know you all are here for funding information. Okay. So let me share my screen.
So I'm also going to ask the clubs while we're waiting for everyone to come in to change your name. And the way you do that is hover over your picture and you're going to see your 3 dots. Click on those 3 dots and you can rename yourself. And just to go ahead and have you put your club name in there. You can put your first name, right? You leave your first name, but also it'd be nice to know who the other folks are.
All right. So let me go ahead and pull a couple more things up. We'll get started. But for those of you who are filing in, welcome. I know typically by now we're starting to get into kind of the groove of things, but obviously circumstances have changed. So I am glad everyone is still hanging in there. Yeah, I just want to go ahead and, remind you all that, what was it, Carrie? It's like so it's been a month already, huh, since school started.
Honestly, I think we're in week 6, which is truly scary.
I know.
It is truly scary.
All right. So with the agenda pulled up, again, for those of you welcome, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 12:03 p.m. on Friday, October 2nd, 2020. I'll go ahead and do a roll call, and I have the Google Sheet here like I always do. For those of you who are clubs that we're going to charter today, or clubs where your name wasn't mentioned, just hold on until the end of the attendance roll, and I'll go ahead and mark you down as here. So as always, unmute yourselves and say that you're here. So Amend, are you here? Amend. Academic Support Club. Academic Support Club. Alpha Gamma Sigma.
Here.
Astronomy and Physics Club, are you here? I believe they've not been here for a while, but are you here regardless? Caduceus Club.
Here.
Carp.
Really
Carp.
We take a look at who's around
Catholic Student Fellowship.
and take kind of a recommendation.
Here. No, wait. Here? No.
Yeah, Catholic Student Fellowship, right? Catholic Student Fellowship. Sorry, I think let's go back to them later. Chinese Students and Scholars Association.
Here.
Christians on Campus.
Here.
Circle K.
Here.
Club Italia.
Here.
Dana Club.
Here.
Diakonos. Diakonos not here. First. French Club. Although I do remember them sending an email about 10 minutes ago. Greenland Sustainability.
Here.
Haunting Hour. International Christian Fellowship.
Here.
InterVarsity Christian Fellowship.
Here.
JSC Japanese Social Club.
Here.
Lancer Motorsports.
Here.
Lancer Parents United. Not here. Math Success Club. OMD, Omicron Mu Delta.
Here.
Paralegal Club. PCC Esports Club. PCC Economics Club. Economics Club not here. PCC Global Club.
Here.
PCC Pre-Law Club.
Here.
Tech Ventures.
Start off with a few slides on
Tech Ventures. Oh, was that you? Chuching,
Here.
Phi Theta Kappa, Phi Theta Kappa.
Here.
It's like being a nonprofit
Here.
and
Okay, Pi Club,
as
Pi Club, are you here? Pineapple Hospitality,
Here.
Psychology,
Here.
Puente, Puente Club, Queer Alliance,
Here.
here,
Registered Nursing Club,
Here.
SACNUS,
Here.
She Codes,
Here.
Ship, are you here? Simba,
Here.
Splintered Minds, not here. Society of Women Engineers, SWE, Society of Women Engineers. And before I get to people that might have not been called yet, is Catholic Student Fellowship here? Catholic Student Fellowship? Okay. I'll go ahead and dump this spreadsheet in the chat. So as people are filing in or late, I guess Carrie can mark them as such.
Hi, sorry to interrupt, but in the chat it says that Carp is here.
Carp is here. Okay, I do see that. Carp is here. Am I missing anyone that maybe has issues with their mic or is just coming in late? First is here.
So my club's missing from the list.
Okay, and then with that, I guess we'll go ahead and get the people that are on the list. So which club are you a part of?
Philosophy club.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm here on behalf of the Ujima Club.
Ujima? Anybody else? RN Club? Okay. Oh, I already marked you here, RN Club. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just to speed things up here, I'm gonna sort this and make sure we have quorum. So we have 20, well, Ujima is not chartered club. Philosophy Club, I think I just missed. So we have 28 out of, I believe, 46 on that.
Hello, Chris.
Mhm.
I'm Felicia from College Leap.
Yeah, I have you on the list to be chartered, which is why you weren't mentioned. But
okay.
don't worry, you'll be on the list next time. So we have 60% of people here, so I think we're good to go. Let me just mark the
Okay,
people that
thank you.
so I don't call them during voting. And I know I did that last time. All right.
Chris, I think we're going to have a student from the Armenian Student Association joining us. I just sent them the link.
Okay, sounds good. We're still doing minutes and adopting agendas, so action items are a little bit down the list, but I'll keep an eye out for them. Okay, so with that said, it looks like most people are here. Looks like quorum has been established. We're gonna go ahead and then adopt the agenda. So this is the agenda. Not much on the agenda today, but I know the big topic of the day would be funding and also chartering for people who still need to be chartered. But the main topic would be funding. I kept item 7B here in case something came up that we needed to train you all on. But it looks like as of right now, there's nothing that I need to really talk about other than funding today. So I'll go ahead and now entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for Friday, October 2nd, 2020, striking item 7C. So do I have a first?
I'll first. The Caduceus Club.
Okay, so who is first? I'm sorry.
The Caduceus Club.
Caduceus? And anybody seconds?
Simba
I'll-
seconds.
Okay. Carrie, should we do a roll call vote or should we just? voice.
For
For-
this, yeah, for this, you can do it by acclamation. So you can do with the
Okay, all right. So then just to speed things up as Carrie suggested, all those in favor say aye. You can just unmute yourselves and I'll give you a minute to do that.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Are there any is any opposed to that? Please unmute yourselves and say so. No? Any abstentions to that? No? Okay, all right. Majority has adopted the agenda. Thank you. And again, just normal business minutes. I sent this all to you at the beginning of this week, but just kind of running through what we talked about. We did some chartering. We also voted people to the funding committee, which coincidentally is going to also meet today. And I'll talk about that more during the meeting, but that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and then at this moment then entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from Friday, September 18th meeting. Do I have a first?
Caduceus Club first.
Do I have a second?
First club seconds.
First seconds. And then since we did the adopt the agenda by voice, I guess we'll do the same for the minutes. So all in favor, same thing. Unmute yourselves and say aye, please.
Aye.
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 All right. Any opposed to these minutes? Any abstentions on adopting these minutes? All right, thank you. And then we do have a majority. Pass this. And then we'll go ahead and then move on. First, moving on to board reports. As always, want to recognize the Hahamanga tribe and that we're performing this meeting today on native land and honoring those that came before us. Next slide. There's not really much to report today, other than that the funding committee will meet later today at 4:45. It is a public meeting, so if you're interested, I threw the link up here in the slides to the Landslide article where I posted the information. So the Landslide article will have the YouTube link and the agenda if you're interested in watching the meeting and watching the funding committee decide on, what the procedure would be for the rest of the semester. But that's pretty much it for me, just a short and sweet board report for you all. Advisor comments. So Carrie, if you want to unmute yourself and
Hi, you all. Thank you for being here. I can't believe it's week 6. I'm seeing a lot of really great stuff happening. I know that because I'm either part of your club. If you see me as I'm asking to be a member, add me. I love to see what you're all up to. And I also see your Instagram accounts. So that's interesting because I see your Instagram accounts. I know what club activities you're doing. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember seeing an activity request for this event. So just as a reminder, you want to go to Lancer Life. And if you have and I think a lot of you have been really great about registering your club meetings. There's the club meeting form, which is really short and not very long. Fill that out so I know when you're meeting. And I really use that as a reference. So someone says to me, I want to know about, when the psychology club meets. Okay, let me go look up their stuff and I can tell people. And it really helps. And it's also, once you've got that part, let me also remind you, once you get that put down part, when your meetings are established, you can go back under Lancer Life, and anyone who's an officer can go under, remember your hamburger menu, those 3 drop-down parts, and click on the About part. And when you click on the About piece, it'll allow you to add the dates and the times and the YouTube or the Zoom links or the Teams or whatever you're using. So that way the public can find you, because oftentimes we have people, again, wanting to know where you are. The other thing too that we talk about is when I see your events, if it's anything outside a club meeting. So for instance, if you're doing a fundraiser, we need to know about that. So that needs to be put in there. And if anyone wants to do a fundraiser, please contact us, because it's not that we don't want you to do it, but oftentimes there are things that need to be signed. There are numbers, nonprofit numbers that need to be figured out, and we need to make sure the check gets to the right place. So just as an example, I know folks love to do pizza fundraisers or Panda or Chipotle. What happens when you work with that corporate, think that they need to send a check to our corporate office, which happens to be fiscal. And this has happened multiple times, is that if we don't work very carefully with this company, the check gets sent into like the Netherlands, not the country, but kind of like that outside space. And because the fiscal services or the student bank or whatever administrative office gets it, they don't know what it is. It just kind of sits on their desk. So I have a check from a club who did a fundraiser with Chipotle for $150 that sat on someone's desk and is now stale dated. And they didn't think to send it to me until it was stale dated. So you lose out on your money. So please make sure that if you're going to do a fundraiser, that you see me. If you're a club who did one on Wednesday the 30th, you know who you are. Please talk to me and make sure you do an ARF. Also, I did do a training with about half of your advisors. It was fantastic. It was all about how to use Lancer Life. It was also about all our new financial policies. So for the other half who did not get that, we were going to put it out again. And this time we really do need to make sure that the rest of your advisors come in. I know there are a bunch of new clubs, so your advisors definitely need to come to that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll send out an Eventbrite and send something directly to all the advisors. Yeah, I heard someone.
I have a quick question. For the ARF forms, neither the president of my club or me was entirely certain, because in the instructions emailed to us, it seemed like we were supposed to fill out an ARF form for each event, including speakers, and our club has a speaker for each club meeting. Does that mean we have to fill out an ARF form for each club meeting, or can we just fill out one form, which is what I did, where we include all of the dates for all the club meetings?
So that would work. So generally, if you have someone who comes into your club meeting and you're not paying them,
yeah, we're not.
It's just you don't even have to let me know. It's just part of your club event. I think
Okay.
Psychology did a great event where it was just they had someone come in. It was just part of their club meeting, and that was fine.
Awesome.
I just need to worry about it if I have to pay.
Awesome.
But thank you for mentioning that, because someone else has sent me an email asking how can we kind of thank our speakers who come to our events. And now, just to let you know, there's new fiscal rules. It's something called gift of public funds. So I want you to think of it this way. The money that we are giving you comes from that $10 student activity fee. So you're taxing yourself. You don't want us just giving that away to people. It's like the government says that they can't just give money away to people. And that's what we do. When we do gift cards, like we used to give $5 gift cards to our speakers who came as a thank you. And I think that's appropriate. But now we can no longer do that. There are things that you can do. So back in the day, if we were still meeting on campus, I would say it's perfectly fine to reimburse this person for mileage if they drove to campus to speak. And you know, it's perfectly fine to go to the bookstore and buy a mug or a pennant or a t-shirt to give to them. So I know some of you have been asking to thank our speakers. That's one way. I am working with associate students to see if we can possibly get some thank you gifts that you can then, like, they'll buy a set number of water bottles, and when they're all, you know, you can ask for a water bottle, and when the water bottles are all gone, they're all gone, but you know, as a way to give out to students. So we're trying to figure out a way you can recognize and thank the folks who do support you, because I understand it's hard to get them, and everyone likes to be appreciated, right? It was great when we used to be able to give them Starbucks cards, get a cup of coffee. Now we can't. So there was that. So I've covered the advisors, I covered forms. Chris, am I missing anything else that I can think of?
Not really. I know you're working on the Canvas shell, so I don't know if you want to maybe let that cat out of the bag right now. I know we're working on content for that, so.
Yeah, so we usually have a training where we work with all of you on it's a one-day training. You learn all you need to do about how to run your club. Because we're now kind of not face-to-face, we have developed a Canvas shell. It's like a class shell. So we're going to invite, we haven't figured out who we're going to invite, but we're going to invite probably club officers. And then we're going to have a list of modules. So for instance, if you want to run a big event, if you want to do a drive-in movie, right? A module on that. If you want to figure out how to get your vendors paid, we'll have a module on that. So that way you can look at that. Right now, your advisors have access to all of that. It's going to be a place where we're going to park a lot of forms that we usually need if we were on campus. If we were face-to-face and you needed the travel form, or if you needed a requisition form. So that's what's going to be at that space. Okay.
All right.
I can't think of anything else that I can think of. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for doing what you do with the clubs. It's been very exciting. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, is there any public comment on non-agenda items? I'm checking the YouTube chat here and it seems to be empty. So, okay, we'll just go ahead and move on then. Any ICC announcements? So people that have meetings or events that you just want to shout out or mention real quick, please feel free to go ahead and do that. Nope. You sure? I know Carrie says she's been checking your Instagrams and everything and that there's been activity. So, you know, now's your chance to let your fellow ICC people know. Okay. No worries. So then we'll move on to action items, which is the first big item of today. So today's list, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about this a little bit more in detail, why the list looks this way. So based on the records that I've done these minutes, which is why we approved them each meeting, there are a few people that I think what happened was they were late to their first meeting. So after chartering was done, so we actually weren't able to charter them, but I do need to charter them now because based on, you know, the emergency procedures that we passed, these clubs have to be chartered so they can obtain their stimulus funding. So that goes for QA, Catholic Student Fellowship, and PTK. So you groups are in that boat. I know I have a couple of people here too that are just brand new clubs and you just need to be chartered, and that would be College Leap and now Armenian Students Association. So I'm gonna go ahead and does anyone have any questions about that? Yeah, Carrie.
Did we charter Ujima?
Ujima? Oh, that's right. Ujima is also here today. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add them on that list too. The thing is, okay, so before I go ahead and make a motion to charter people, I just wanted to make sure that most of you are good with this, but I need you all to register on Lancer Life for a profile page. That's something that I was talking with Carrie about before the meeting started, because that was a requirement that we're making everyone do. So it's only fair that if we're chartering you, you need to have a page that has been re-registered and is up to date with your current officers and information. So I'm just going to preface it with that, but I'm going to go ahead and then charter these people. So if you are not on Master Life, please make sure to have a presence on there. I'm doing this just in good faith. So with that said, are there any other questions about who we're going to charter today? Otherwise, I'll just make a motion.
Yeah, Chris, I can say that Ujima needs to update their page, ASA needs to update their page. And I don't recall if, I know that College Leap does not have a page.
Oh, they're a new club. I actually approved them, so they're good.
And then Phi Theta Kappa, Kyle, did you update your page? Or Kelly, did you update the page?
I haven't updated it lately.
Okay. So all of you've all been put on notice. We're letting you go through because you need to be done through, but you need to help us out and do what we're asking you on the back end, which is to update your page. Go there now, and if you haven't registered your page, re-register your page and get that done today, please.
Okay, yeah, so Carrie, I guess, named, you know, people who, yeah, so as we're doing things on our end, we hope you do things on your end. So the people that Carrie mentioned, please do update your page if it isn't already updated. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and right now then entertain a motion to charter Queer Alliance, Catholic Student Fellowship, Phi Theta Kappa, College Leap, Ujima, and Armenian Students Association for ICC Fall 2020. So do I have a first for that motion?
Caduceus first.
Okay, do I have a second? Anybody want to second this motion?
Simba seconds.
Okay, and because you know, I think we had a pretty robust discussion about this, I'm just going to go ahead and do a roll call vote, which is the only roll call vote we'll be doing today, but I just want to make sure that people that need to get through. So Alpha Gamma Sigma, how do you vote on this?
Yes.
Caduceus Club?
Yes.
CARP?
Yes.
Chinese Students and Scholars Association?
Yes.
Christians on Campus?
Yes.
Circle K?
Yes.
Club Italia?
Yes.
Dana Club?
Yes.
First?
Yes.
French Club? Oh, French Club is absent. I'm sorry, I didn't mark them. Green Lancer Sustainability?
Yes.
International Christian Fellowship,
Yes.
InterVarsity Christian Fellowship,
Yes.
Japanese Social Club,
Yes.
Lancer Motorsports,
Yes.
Omicron Mu Delta,
Yes.
PCC Global Club,
Yes.
Pre-Law Club,
Yes.
Chu Ching,
Yes.
Phi Theta Kappa,
Kelly would say yes, but she's in another meeting, can't speak right now. But I could get her confirmation if you want.
I will just mark her as abstain at this point then, no biggie. Philosophy Club,
No, I'm not sure. I'm actually just filling in for somebody.
okay, Pineapple Hospitality Club,
Yes.
Psychology Club,
Yes.
QA,
Yes.
Registered Nursing Club,
Yes.
SACNUS,
Yes.
She Codes,
Yes.
okay, Simba,
Yes.
and Ujima. I know you're kind of voting for yourself, but just for the record.
I would say yes.
Ujima, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then that motion has passed. Thank you. That's the only action item for today. So next we'll go ahead and go into, I guess, what I think most people are here for, which is ICC
Yes.
funding. Yes.
Can I say one thing really quick before we go on? I'm just noticing the role and that we've had a lot of folks not here. I do want to remind you that it is your responsibility to make sure you come to these meetings. And I think because you're here, you don't need to hear this. I'm kind of preaching to the choir. I do thank you for being here. But if you know of any other folks on this list or you're friends with, remind them they do need to be here. And we'll have Chris send out a notice. Folks need to be here, kind of consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard, but if you know anybody, please tell them to be here because I don't, because things are changing so quickly, I'm probably going to need a lot of action items to go through. And if people aren't here, I can't get business done. So just to add on to what Carrie said. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and talk about ICC funding right now again, which is I think the big topic of the day. So I received a couple emails from, I guess, people that maybe are new to ICC or were just elected as an officer this semester, and we're kind of confused about the emails that I've been sending them out about stimulus funding. So I want to go ahead and differentiate right now the difference between stimulus funding and regular funding. So stimulus funding is, if I go on to the next slide here, so stimulus funding is only if your club was chartered in spring 2020 and they're chartered this semester, fall 2020, and they're on the list that I send out to everyone. So hopefully that's clear. So if you weren't a club that was chartered in spring, you don't even have to think about stimulus funding because you're not eligible. But regular funding is open to everybody, like regardless if you're new, if you're returning, like even if you're returning and you got your stimulus money, you can still apply for regular funding. So hopefully that clarifies things. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I heard only if your club was chartered spring 2020. What was the other semester?
This semester, fall 2020.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any other people that are kind of still confused or have questions about this? I know it's a discussion item, so you can just ask away. No? No, you're all quiet.
I'm still confused.
Okay, so what are you, which part are you confused about?
My club for Pineapple Hospitality, we weren't chartered until this semester because we had a lot of the previous meetings for spring 2020. I believe that we weren't really ever able to reach the quota for like people voting and whatnot. So we were only able to be chartered this semester. So how would that work?
So in your case specifically, off the top of my head, I know that you were chartered for spring. Like I did that myself. So you're good. You are eligible for stimulus funding because you were chartered for spring, and I can look up the minutes too if you need proof for that. And you were chartered this semester. So you're eligible for both stimulus funding and regular funding.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. I just caught.
So yeah, so hopefully that clarifies things. So you're good. You're all green.
And then if I wanted to hire like a third party photographer, then do I also have to fill up the Lancer Life ARF and whatnot?
We will get to that. We will get to the steps that you need to do to obtain your funding. But the concern right now that I want to cover is what kind of funding people are eligible for in the first place.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
I have a question, just to clarify. You said spring 2020, or do you mean like spring 2019? The one that just passed.
Spring 2020 of this year. So spring of this year when we were going into lockdown and stuff. So that.
Okay, sorry, I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, I know like we don't even want to use the word 2020 right now, but yeah, so as long as you were chartered this spring and you're chartered now, you are eligible for stimulus funding and you're eligible for regular funding. But if you're new, you're only eligible for regular funding. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's something that I think I want to make sure I drill in with people and make sure that there's no confusion about it. Are there any questions about that in regards to your particular club? Just one more question, and I guess if you still are confused, you can stick around after the meeting and have a breakout room and talk about it. But any other last question? Okay. All right, I'll move on then. So with that said, now that you know the different types of funding, I want to go ahead and point out that the funding committee, I know a lot of you are here in the meeting, so thank you for participating again. We'll meet this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. to discuss modifications to regular funding. So just regular funding though, because I already made up the procedure and steps for stimulus funding as I sent out in that email yesterday. So if you want to be a part of that meeting and watch as a member of the public, you're more than welcome to. I'll go ahead and mention that article is up on Lancer Life with all the links. So you can attend that. But are there any questions about that before I move on? I'm gonna go slowly through this discussion because I know this is a big thing for people. Any questions about that? No, yes? I know you're all quiet again, so.
I don't think there are any questions.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'll go ahead and then move on then to stimulus funding. So I worked with Carrie on creating like a one-sheet document on if you're eligible for stimulus funding, how you will be able to use that money. So I'll go to that document now. And I know this looks familiar because I sent it out yesterday, so you all just kind of have it, download it, or whatever. So this is that document. So yada, 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 make sure your club is eligible. You can check your club status here. I also sent that link out in the email yesterday. So you can verify and double check if you're eligible for stimulus funding. In this spreadsheet here, if you go here, I already did the work of putting all the data together and pulling the list of people that were eligible from spring, cross-referencing it with people that were chartered this semester, and then saying that these people, since they're chartered and since they exist on this list, they can ask for stimulus funding. So hopefully that's clear. But all you need to know is that if you're in the yellow here, your club is eligible. That's pretty much all you have to check when you click on that link. So moving on, just some basic ground rules for stimulus funding. You cannot use it to like send out scholarships, again, give the public funds, but I think this is something that we want to particularly emphasize. No in-person events because that's your college policy, so you cannot fund like in-person stuff or events, and nothing that like really enriches your club officers. So if you're like buying gifts for yourself, that's a big no-no. So before I move on to the second portion of the document, is there any question on eligibility and just the basic ground rules? No, yes? Okay. So then we get in, I guess, to the important part of this document. So I know this looks like a lot, and I also get that it's a lot, but this is what the student business services and the way that the college operates. Like, this is how we are doing things. So I apologize if it's a lot, but you can always reach out to me or Carrie if you have any questions. But hopefully I made it clear enough here with this mini checklist in each category that you can kind of walk through it and fill it out. So depending on what you're asking money for, you will need different like components. So the most common scenario is reimbursements if you're buying like an item or service. So it's like if you're buying something off of like Amazon, or if you're buying something off of like, I don't know, some other online store for your club to use during an activity, that will fall under category A right here. So yes, I think someone asked earlier, you do need to submit an ARF for the event that you're asking money from. And we're asking you to like screenshot that or link the approval of your submission so that we know, okay, this ARF has gone through the system and you're approved for this event. And so obviously that means you're approved for any spending you're doing for that event. And feel free to interrupt me here because I know this is a lot. But that's the first thing you need. The second part that you need is a requisition form. I know it says fillable PDF link here. I'll update that today, but what I was able to do is go ahead and create or Carrie was able to go ahead and create the little, if you're familiar, the little half sheet. I know we colloquially call it a half sheet, but it's actually called a requisition form that you use then to go ahead and fill out to get your money back essentially. So are there any questions on that too? Again, I want to walk through this slowly because I know it's a lot.
I've got a question real quick.
Yes.
I remember somewhere that the stimulus fund or the stimulus value is $300. Am I remembering that correct or?
Oh, no, it's $150.
$150. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll put that at the top of this document so it's clear. Any other questions? That was a good question. Any other questions before I move on to the next part of this checklist? No? Okay, so next is then the fillable PDF for your minutes. So what these are is a record of what you talked about during your meeting. So for example, whenever I ask you all to approve minutes, that's basically what that is. Like I'm taking a record of who voted on what items were on the agenda and what was discussed. So I know that seems like a really long and complicated document to do, but don't worry because Carrie has actually created a template for you just to go ahead and fill out real quick that you can use to then just punch in the information that you talk about during the meeting and you should be good. Also, you need to go ahead and fill out an ARF, or not an ARF, you need to fill out a meeting request form on Lancer Live. So I know I've been sending out that link as well. And I know it seems like a lot of information, but I embedded the links in here. So if you click on it, you can go ahead and jump right into that link or submission and form and just fill it out and do all of that. So that's what you need, the two pieces of information for the minutes. Lastly, and this is kind of obvious because this is what happened during regular semesters, but you also need to attach your original receipts. And since we're remote now, we're gonna go ahead and say it's okay for you to take a photo of it with your phone or take a screenshot of it if it's like an online transaction. Or if you are old school, you can just use a scanner and scan it in as like a JPEG or a PDF. And once you're done all of that, yeah, yes.
Just so you all know, because I know Chris was earlier talking about this, looks like a lot. Your advisors also got something very similar to this. So your advisors, at least half of your advisors, 22 of them attended, 23 of them attended. So half of the advisors here know what's going on with this form and how to get your money through.
Okay. Yeah, so once you're done with all that, just email all that information in like a zip file or just like attach it in an email if the files are small enough and send it to an email to our bookkeeper, Ms. Sharon. That's your email right there. And also CC or just send it to Carrie so that she's also aware of club spending. So that was item A, and I know again that was a lot, but are there any questions or clarifications that need to be done about this like mini checklist for general reimbursements?
Yes.
Okay.
You said that there was like a form, excuse me, we had to fill out for our meetings about what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
For like our club board meetings or our general public club meetings?
Want me to answer, Chris?
Yeah, you can go ahead and answer.
So what we need to do, think of it this way. The auditors need to know that your club as a whole agreed to fund the thing that you're getting reimbursed for or paying for. So whether or not you need to now, whatever expenditures you have, you need to bring to a club meeting. And if your structure of your club is that you have your executive board agree on funding, or if you have the larger entire club agree on your funding, whatever meeting that is, there's going to be, we've created a format of minutes. So you've seen the minutes, how how ICC has their minutes, which basically reports what happens.
Yep.
So that's what you're going to be required to fill out. And if that action happens at an exec meeting, then you list it as the exec meeting. If it's at a larger meeting with the entire group, then you do it at that meeting.
Okay.
Where that choice happens, do it there.
Yeah, and as Carrie was talking here, I was kind of rummaging around, sorry, but I embedded the link to this template. So if you open it up, it looks like this. And if you download it and open it in like a PDF reader, this is a fillable PDF. So you just fill out the form just like any other piece of paperwork. So that's what this looks like.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, so you don't have to do like the intense like formatting and attendance lists like I do. Just simple one sheet minutes. If you have more, you can obviously, if you have more items, you can obviously attach more, but that's the template. I'm making it, yeah, Carrie, go ahead.
Good practice is for you always to agendize your meetings. That means you put up a list, you put up a notice 3 days in advance that your club is going to be doing things, and you list the things the same way that you get the agenda that Chris does, because then the public gets to know what you're doing. And that's good if you're having elections or you're dealing with money. You don't have to do that. Do you have to do your minutes in exactly the same way that on that format that I gave you or what Chris gave you? No, but if you do not include those items that we're looking for, we will not accept your minutes. So that's why we gave you the template. It doesn't have to be on that, but look at all the things that are included in there and make sure you include that in your minutes when you submit them.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I apologize for doing editing in the background here while Carrie's talking, but I fixed the links. Treat this document as like a hub. If you're eligible for stimulus funding, treat it as a hub that you can get to other things that you need to do to piece the information together to send to our bookkeeper and Carrie. Again, I know it's a lot, but hopefully I kind of made it simple here by putting all the links in one place because I love to do that, as you know, with my emails. So if there are any, but still, if there are any questions or anything, you know, feel free to let me know or Carrie know, can resolve them. Moving on though to item B. So item B is pretty much similar to item A. As you can see, a lot of the items are the same. I just repeated it here just for, you know, just for like double checklist sake. But as you can see, there are a couple of items that differ. And that's where this invoice piece comes in. So you're going to have to ask if you're going to be paying a company for their services for an invoice. But the invoice, the address of that invoice goes to the college and not you personally because you don't pay vendors, the college does. And I actually attached an example here of what that looked like. So I know I redacted a lot of information here, but this is an example of what that invoice might look like. This is like Club Rush from I think fall, but this was the rental agency that we used to rent a lot of the tables and chairs. So as you can see, it has PCC's address on it, the price information, the dates. So that's what this looks like, and that's what you're going to be asking for from a vendor when you are wanting to pay them for a service. So is that clear? And then you obviously ask them for a PDF or something that's like sendable. But are there any questions about that invoice piece, about vendors or anything like that? No? Okay. Next piece you need and is going to be the IRS W-9 form. So I directly link to the IRS's website here, and this is what that looks like. This is what you're going to be sending to the vendor, and that's what they're going to be filling out. And you're going to have to attach that and send it to Sharon and Carrie here. So any questions about that before I move on? No? Okay. C, part C is contracts of personal services from individuals. So if you are going to go ahead and pay for like a speaker to come to your event, I think with the psychology club or philosophy club that said they want to have speakers come or performers come to perform at your virtual event, that would be item C. So again, a lot of the things look the same. The things that do differ are these three pieces here. So instead of asking for an invoice from a company, you're asking an invoice from the person billing the college for a service. So again, the college's address goes on there because they don't bill you, they bill the college, they bill us. And it looks something like this. This is, first, sorry, I'm gonna use your really great example here, but this was first, I believe in the spring. So they had a speaker come to their event and the speaker created like a really quick invoice and they charged for their speaking services and they were paid and they were, it was charged to PCC. So that's what an invoice looks like from like a personal standpoint. Again, you need to fill out the IRS W-9 form. You already saw that. And Carrie here, I know you're still working on this. It's going to be like a little contract piece that you're going to have to sign. So check back later for that link sometime next week, right, Carrie?
Yeah, so we're finalizing a new contract, and once we get it up there, it will be sent out to your advisors and made available for folks to use. Just so you know that the reason why we're changing a lot of these policies is because we are now trying to come into line with audit policies. So we like the way we used to do business, but it's not enough for our auditors. So that's what we're up to now.
Yeah, so I know, again, I know it's a lot, but hopefully this document helps you if there's still concerns, because I know a lot of people have unique scenarios. Just let us know and we can work it through. But I threw the link up in the chat here if anyone wants to, you know, save this to their own Google Drive or whatever, feel free to do that. But this is the steps for you all to obtain the stimulus funding. And for those of you who are on the funding committee, we're going to draft a similar procedure during the meeting today at 4:45. But instead of stimulus funding, it's going to be for regular funding. So for those of you outside of eligibility for stimulus funding, keep an eye out for a document that looks like this, but applied to regular funding. But are there any questions here about anything else in regards to funding? I know this is my last slide, so.
This isn't particular to funding because my club hasn't yet needed to have anything funded, but do we keep track? I don't know if I missed this, if you already said this, do we keep track of the regular club minutes or just the minutes at which a speaker is presenting that we're going to pay?
Anytime I'm only going to require that you keep minutes for anything that is involving money.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, actually, but I will highly, highly recommend that you also do an agenda and minutes for elections.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so whenever, like Carrie said, so I'm reiterating what she said. So whenever you're asking or talking about money in your meeting, that's when you can do minutes. But outside of that, you can do minutes for your other things, but it's not required. So whenever you hear the word money or funding, that's kind of the big, you know, the thing that should trip you off. Like I need to do stuff for that, and for that you refer to our documents that I made. But are there any questions still about funding? I just put it on the agenda as a general item. So any questions about funding or anything like that before I let you all go? Anything else?
Hey,
Okay,
Chris,
anything else?
One thing I'm looking at the chat, I think you sent the Google Docs. It says to everyone in the waiting room.
Oh, okay.
You might want to put it on the so everyone can have options.
Apologize about that. But here, I think everyone now should be able to see the link. But yeah. You can directly email me too if you ever need information. I know I send out my weekly emails, but sometimes that gets caught by spam and stuff. So let me know if you're not getting information so that I can feed it to you. But any other questions about funding before we wrap up?
Yeah, I was wondering if the fundraisers help support for our club.
What would you like to know about fundraisers? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned anyone could be eligible for the fundraisers, and I was wondering if I want to know a little more information about it, like after the meeting, and I was wondering if they help support for club funding.
So right now we don't run fundraisers. You can ask for money. Japanese Social Club, I think you do qualify funding, so you do have that 150. You also can qualify for ICC funding, which is what we're meeting today at 4:45 about. The fundraising that I was talking about is that some clubs go out to Chipotle and they'll do, or Panda Express, and they'll do that. You know, if you go eat there, they'll get credit, but that's something that they arrange on their own.
Oh, okay. So the fundraising is more as our own personal thing, like we have to do it ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, but make sure if you do that to put in an ARF so that
Yeah.
Carrie's aware that that's going on. Because as Carrie pointed out earlier during the report, that was something that was an issue for not you, but like a different. So
yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Just one more, and I'll let you all go. Just to keep time here. I know we end at 1 officially. So anything else?
Yeah, so I know that PCC Bookstore has gift vouchers, and I wonder if that would be like a good gift idea. Or does it have to be like something physical, like an actual mug that you can only give to like speaker or something, someone like that for gifts?
Right now, yes. The auditors. So think of it this way. This is when the first time you ever do anything, you're kind of super cautious and erring on the side of caution. So right now, they are not allowing us to do anything called a gift card. They are just so anti-gift card right now. And gift certificate right now. So we have to do physical things. So I would be curious if you all just want to either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. If AS were to buy like t-shirts or a water bottle, how many of you would be interested in like asking for that? Because we could then give those away. So it's really weird. We can give away physical things, but we can't buy people things. Like we can't buy them a cup of coffee.
Okay, so that makes sense. But I just wonder, like, if AS were to buy that, wouldn't they have to ship it out to like the speakers soon? Like, would the shipping be something that this money would cover, or would that be something we have to deal with?
If you bought shipping from the bookstore, is what you're saying?
Like would professors, like, because we had an event where our club bought 4 mugs from the bookstore to give to professors, and then we were like, professors, could you come pick it up from the bookstore? Otherwise, we will be able to ship it to you. Like, we'd be happy to do that. But then some of them, I felt like weren't too comfortable with us having their addresses. So we're just paying for the shipping sort of like out of pocket right now.
Yeah, so actually you can get reimbursed for that. So hold on to your receipts and submit them. We'll pay for shipping.
Okay, great.
When you all were, again, this is new to all of us. When you start asking for funds for an event, make sure you do think about shipping because you can send stuff to your members, right? We all use Amazon and send stuff through members and stuff like that. But please take that into account, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So I'll go ahead and officially wrap up this meeting. For people that still have questions, please stick around and we will answer them. But I'll go ahead and then just move on then. So future agenda items and meeting dates. Our next meeting is October 16th. And the funding committee, as I stated, will meet at 4:45 p.m. this afternoon. And we will talk about regular ICC funding procedures. On this October 16th date, I want to go ahead and remind everyone to maybe keep an eye out because that potentially will be our first committee meeting that we will meet in the afternoon after the ICC meeting for people that do have funding requests for them to come and ask. But that just keep an eye out for October 16th. That's the next hot date for ICC that stuff is going to happen on. So I will see you all in 2 weeks. But at this time, I would like to then adjourn this meeting at 12:57 p.m. on October 2nd, 2020. Do I have a first?
Odysseus firsts.
Do I have a second?
Talia second.
Second. All right. We'll just do this by vote so we can get you all out. All those in favor, unmute yourselves and say aye, please.
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you. Any opposed to adjourning the meeting? Any abstentions? No. Well, thank you all. You are all free to go. If you have any lingering questions, again, please stick around. For people who were late or are not sure if they were marked here or not, stick around so we can get you on a roll sheet. But that's it for our meeting. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Bye.
Bye. We stop the YouTube stream and then we can.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Hi, I have a question
Yep, go ahead.
regarding the next meeting on October 16th. What time